It up. All right. Here we go. We're back live again. Let's see. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Thursday with myself, Caroline Cain, and Michael Franke. Michael, thank you for squeezing us in on your busy schedule. I know that you've been backed up a lot because you have some stuff going on behind the scenes. So I just watched your Instagram story. For everybody who doesn't know why you're so busy right now, what's cooking behind the scenes?
Yeah, we finally launched the niche community. You guys have overwhelmed me with support. Have about 120 of you backed up for sales appointments. So somehow this introvert will have to find a way to talk to all of you. But I look forward to it. But yeah, submit your applications. GetNicheNow.com. You'll get an email from me with a link to my Calendly to have a talk with me. Might have to tap Caroline on the shoulder and ask her to handle a few. Maybe she can help me out some.
I'm excited for it all. I've been asking when you're gonna. I'm ready to be a student. I'm ready to learn some more from you too, because you've changed the game for me. And I know I had a few other people that had. We just saw the post in the Facebook group from Brian. Brian said that he got his first deal, and I know he came on to the live with us. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? He came on to the live with us. I think we were texting behind the scenes like, who in the niche group has not gotten a deal yet? And it's super cool seeing everybody just implementing the task we've given to them to get stuff done. So that's really exciting.
What blew my mind earlier today, there was a guy named Baltazar Barrera that scheduled a call with me, and he was a little bit late. And I texted him. He was like, "Oh shoot, I just left an appointment." So he got on the call, and he's like, "Yesterday I watched your YouTube video about your presentation you did at that mastermind, and there's this guy with a vacant house, and I've been trying to get a hold of him that had a foreclosure coming up, and just couldn't get a hold of him. And you went over a texting section and gave a few different texting outlines that we could use, and I used one of them, and the guy responded. Well, he invited me over. I signed the contract right before this appointment, and I've already assigned it for $80,000. And I'm just like, that stuff just makes me happy. It really does, to see other people winning.
Well, that's the other thing we were just kind of talking about. Look how many people are getting deals from just the free content we're putting on
free
YouTube.
Content, man.
Guys, you can get after it and get something done if you just listen to what we're saying and make the calls. The amount of people, I just had a different meeting, and I had one person who was like, well, my issue is I'm not consistent. Well, I'm glad we're able to identify it. That is a problem. And I gave them a task, like, you need to be hitting, if you're doing this full time, 300 dials a day. Like, you need to get after it. Because I don't know if you remember Eddie Reyes. Eddie came on one of my Zooms the other day. He's like, it was my slow day of making dials. I only made 150 dials because I was out door knocking. I'm like, dude, that's incredible. Like, guys, if you want to get rewarded sooner, you've got to do more work. It all comes back into frequency. So that is what we want to do. But I know you only have a little bit of time on here today, so I want to get through the meat and potatoes from all the questions that everybody's asking. So it looks like we got a new Jonathan that's taking the lead for questions in the side chat. And then just before we get into these, because we're going to only have Michael for a little bit, we are here every Thursday at 12. This is free. We know you guys can make money from it. Before we continue on, because you are launching your niche community, what should they expect when they get in there? I know we've talked about data. That's been the biggest question I've had. What is it going to be? Because I know it's going to evolve and you're going to figure out what everybody needs. But immediately when they get into niche, what can people look forward to?
So a lot of us have been in communities or masterminds where it's a lot of information, and the information is great, right? You need that awareness, that information to be able to start and get deals and get your first one and get that proof of concept. But a lot of times, a lot of us like to be the content warrior type, to where we're just plugged into the community. We're not really taking action. We get addicted to that dopamine hit of learning new stuff, which admittedly, I love myself. But my goal is for you to, of course, learn, but I want you to get a stinking result. I want you to be able to quit your W-2 after a few deals if you feel so compelled. I want you to be able to change the life of your family. So how do you do that? You end up really focusing in on a certain set of skills. You become lethal with those skills, and you don't deviate until you have proof of concept and you really understand it, and you feel like you can expand into something else. So here's what you're going to get. Number one, You'll, of course, get the education, the course, the Zooms, all the stuff that you would expect from a community these days. You'll get a dedicated niche community app to where all of the events, all of the networking, the de facto Facebook group, everything that you could want is in one spot. And 3, you will get with the community your data included. So I've built a niche data company to where nationwide in every state and every county and every precinct, I give you daily updated foreclosure information that is skip traced, includes an insane amount of information, and a portal for you to where instead of spending years and years figuring this out and hiring VAs and doing all this stuff, with a few clicks, you can have the information that you need. And within reason, you could watch the course in a few days and take this data and go start taking action and get a result within a few weeks. And that's what I would love for you.
This is okay. I love that. And I just put it down below so you guys can see it. I'm a visual person myself. So I can hear you, but I want to know what we get. So education, you're going to coach us through some things. I got to see behind the curtain and how it's clean. I love how short, sweet, to the point it is. Access to be inside of a little community, communicate with everybody, fresh, updated data every single day in every single state all across the United States. So I think that's a really good steal for what you're paying for. Because look on the side chat now, John just commented, closed my first pre-foreclosure deal 2 weeks ago using this framework. Okay. That's insane. Way to go, John. We got to get like a bell. We got to get an air horn or something for all of these freaking people who are coming on and telling. We want to hear about you guys doing this. Guys, it's free. We've given this to you for free. The other one, Brian, we were just talking about. Closed my first pre-foreclosure yesterday. Thanks to Michael and this community. Guys, it is possible for you. So really, really love seeing you guys talk about all these. And then Dustin said, you guys have all convinced me. Where did it go? The comment. You have all convinced me that pre-foreclosure is the way. It's motivation. These people need help. We're helping homeowners save their equity. So it's incredible. All right, now let's keep going. What we're going to do is get after some of the questions that you guys have over here. So I see one of the first questions from Jonathan is, do you provide a leaseback option for the sellers as an insurance policy to make sure your end buyer performs?
Do you provide a leaseback option for the sellers as an insurance policy to make sure your end buyer performs? Yeah, guys, I want to protect my seller as much as possible. I had one situation in particular to where this bit me in the butt. I bought a house out of foreclosure. It was a sub-2 deal. The seller was going to stay there long term. He had got let go of his job. His wife had cancer. And he had got a new job, and his finances were actually pretty solid. He was actually going to be a decent tenant. So I had him in there long term. But for different circumstances, I decided to sell the house, right? He had a lease in place. He was secure. I told the end buyer, look, you need to honor this lease. Hey, this family they need to stay in this home, right? So they agreed, yep, we're going to let them stay there for a year because that was the agreement on the lease, and then we'll sell it. I said, great, that's what we'll do. Well, then the seller calls me the next morning and said, I have an eviction sticker on the door, right? So seller or the buyer just says, you know what, I don't care. That's your problem. I'm just going to do what I have to do to make money. And that's why my buyer's list is really small. Right? Because it's people that I trust. And there was this one time that I didn't really vet someone and they were going to be able to buy the house. And I was like, oh, this is great. And I didn't vet them. And they didn't care about the person inside of the house. Then there ended up being a domestic disturbance in the house. And the guy was very upset and ended up having an altercation with his family. And it was on the news. And it was a disaster. So you always want to protect your seller. Think through things carefully. Before you make decisions, think through who you buy things or sell things to. I know we all want to make money, and that's the goal, but truly think about the ramifications of every decision that you make. These people on the other side of the table, they're human beings with feelings and souls and emotions, and we just have to factor that in. But to answer that shortly, yes, I do get a lease in place. or at least a post-possession period to where that person is protected if I end up wholesaling or selling the house off.
Okay, I like that. It's a good answer. I would agree. The next one Jonathan has is, I've heard that bankruptcy attorneys can move slowly and it's faster
Lord.
to go back.
Oh, Lord.
I know. Get the reference number if you need to stop an auction in 2 days or less. Is that correct? So first and foremost, you're not CPAs, you're not attorneys, and you should not file bankruptcy for somebody.
Jonathan, I want you to know that can put you in prison. Do not do this. I will educate you as to why. So over the years, I've stopped 600 plus foreclosures. I've enabled hundreds of people to probably file bankruptcy. Again, I made the choice from the decision because filing bankruptcy is an attorney activity. Unless you are a licensed attorney, this is not something you can do. You cannot give advice to someone on how to file bankruptcy. You cannot go over the paperwork. You cannot drop it off at the county. These are attorney activities. What you can do is say, look, this is an option. I can refer this to my third-party person that handles these things, and they can assist you if you feel like that's what's best for you, and enable them to do that. So about a year ago, I had the DOJ reach out to me, Department of Justice. They're like, well, we've seen this odd trend of a lot of people filing bankruptcies, and then you end up buying the house. So we want to question you. So I had a 4-hour deposition with the DOJ, which was very interesting. We'll just say it that way. So they asked me all these questions about, have you filed the paperwork? Have you filled out the paperwork? Have you given people advice on the paperwork? And I was like, honestly, I can 100% honestly tell you, I don't even know what the paperwork is. I don't even know how to fill it out. I have a third party that fills this out for me. And then they let me go and it was fine. But guys, the fines for that are steep. And if you have multiple violations, they can put you in jail. That's not something that you mess with. So Jonathan, I know that you're just trying to serve these people and help out, but you also have to understand the laws that go behind this. I just want you to understand that that's a very serious thing. I would not recommend doing that. Walk through the options, allow them to know what they can do, but find a third party, someone in a power team for you that can handle that bankruptcy.
Hit the nail on the head. Don't do attorney things. Don't give CPA advice. Let everybody go talk to them. And that's why you want to have that. And also delegation, so you can focus on other homeowners that need your help. Mm-hmm. Jonathan, I feel like you might be new to our channel, which is cool. How do you handle it? I haven't figured out. Are we okay? If you go over to Michael's YouTube, because I still have not done it, we have a role play example where I cover I was the meanest seller to Michael. We did a role play. I was super mean because I was scared. I was scared to door knock, and I wanted to get advice from Michael. How would you overcome this? What would you say? What would you do here? So what I ended up doing is I asked if you'd role play with me. Scroll down. So look, we're in the video section right here on Michael's page. And just so you guys know, when you're on our YouTube channels, make sure you click the drop down right here and all. Hit that subscribe so you know when we're live. But down here a little bit, this one, how to deal with an angry seller. Okay, we did this 10 months ago. Ooh. Okay. Video right here, we go over all of those objections. This is the script that I give to my team when they get to cold calling, when they go door knocking. This will help you out a ton. And remember, one of the things that you all should consider here is we divorce our desires from the door. Mm-hmm. Our first strategy is always to help these homeowners. When nothing else works, then we are going to, these are your options because the bank is not allowing you to do a loan mod. You don't have any money to catch it up right now. Unless there's another thing that we haven't thought of through all of our examples, and it sounds like you want to get a fresh start. Let's get you some of your equity so you can get into the next chapter of your life. So go watch that video. Is there anything else you'd say on that, Michael?
No, those videos are great. I don't think I've met a seller that was as mean as Caroline since then.
Hey, well,
if you can beat Caroline mean, you can beat anybody.
There you go. And it happens. And there's some people who are upset. And this is another thing. You and I, we talked about this with Marlon. I think we did a live about this. Guys, it's never you that's upsetting them. There's something else going on in their life. Like, think about this. If you're dealing with homeowners that are in pre-foreclosure, they're probably having a pretty rough go of it. And they're a little overwhelmed and stressed out. And everybody's calling them. And everybody's knocking them. it's exhausting. And you just happen to be the first person that day that's got them at the wrong time. They're just overwhelmed. So remember that. Be kind to these people and do the best to serve them. All right. Then Jonathan asked another question further down. He said, is niche course available for purchase for anyone, or are you interviewing for spots?
Guys, I want the people in this community to be of a certain mindset, of a certain way of thinking. So yeah, I could put a link and make it easier on myself, but I want it to be people that actually care about the niche core values, and that's just to serve the seller and do the right thing. Make sure that, yeah, we're making money and we're putting, food on the table for our own family, but we have to care about the seller as well. So I just want to weed out anyone that maybe doesn't feel that way, because I assure you there are people that operate in that manner. So that's why you got to talk to me. I'm sorry.
I like it. I like having the barrier to entry, because I want to be surrounded. So the Facebook group, we filter it. We filter it a ton. We don't let just anybody in, especially because I've seen a lot of bots trying to join, but people get in the group, and every once in a while somebody tries to throw some kind of spam in there to trick people, and we're like, oh, we're getting you kicked out immediately. So only those that pass the vibe checks get in. All right. Another good one that I love, Alex just posted this. Same here. I just closed my first foreclosure deal last week from door knocking.
Hey.
Subtail strategy. So this is incredible. Let's go to the next one here. Jesse Lee Gomez said, so should we not try to assign a contract and stop the foreclosure if the auction is around the corner about 10 days? You can absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The main goal is making sure we're serving the homeowner. Get the auction stopped, get some breathing room, see if you can talk to your buyer. Can you have a little bit of post-possession if you have to close in 10 days? If you have a quick enough title company, will the bank let you extend the auction so you can have more time to buy it or sell it to the end buyer? But you can absolutely do that. You have enough time. 10 days is so much time. That'd be incredible. Give us 10 days.
Eternity.
Oh, this is great. I was just in Colorado with Austin. We did a little mastermind with their team. He just said, got our first one under contract last week after 2 days of door knocking. Title came back with a $170,000 federal tax lien that may kill the deal. What's the best way to approach this, Michael?
Yeah, tax liens are a challenge. Unfortunately, the feds want to be paid. Now, there are different ways to beat down these liens. Many times, the IRS will accept a larger lump sum and reduce it. And there are companies that specialize in assisting you with that. I am not an expert on reducing tax liens, but I have had companies reduce them for me. I've also had my title company in certain situations. They have the ability to detach the federal lien from the house. They'll follow the seller around, but they won't follow the house around. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. That would be an hour-long conversation right there. But sometimes they won't accept the lien any less. They just want their money, and there's nothing you can do. And sometimes you just have to accept that, and it sucks. But I would fight for that seller. Have them call the IRS, see, if they're willing to work with them. Let them know the severity of the situation, and see what comes of it. That's how you learn. And this niche is calling and figuring it out and seeing what solution you come up with. Because then when you fight and you put a few hours into it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I figured it out. It's like, well, next time you come across that, you have that skill, and that makes you even more valuable. And it's when you stack those skills that then you become very, very valuable to your sellers.
You hit the nail on the head there. So Austin, reach out. I'll message me, and we'll talk a little more about this outside of here. There's a few really good questions. I know we only have 5 minutes left with you, so I want to be mindful here. How long, Manga said, how long after filing bankruptcy does the property get taken off the auction? Michael, so if you have an auction tomorrow morning and the homeowner decides they've talked to an attorney, they realize, bankruptcy is the best route, just to, pause it because they want to sell it. They just want to get a fresh start. When will that be taken off the auction list?
So my typical process is, as I contact my third party, they meet up with the seller, they fill out the paperwork, file the bankruptcy. Then we call the attorney, let them know this has been filed. And then 10 times out of 10, they will stop the foreclosure sale. Now, it should be taken off within a couple of days of the list. And generally that sale will be stopped anywhere from 2 to 6 months, depending on the state and depending on the lender. But if nothing is done, you just file bankruptcy, you haven't solved the problem. You just put a Band-Aid on an infected wound. So they have to reinstate the house. They have to do a loan modification. They have to sell for cash. They have to sell subject to. They have to do something during that period of time. So somewhere between 2 and 6 months, it'll roll back around through foreclosure, but it'll get removed off the list pretty quickly.
Great question. All right, this one's for you, Michael. Michael, can you please? Oh wait, no. Where to go? This is the one I want to go. For Michael, would love to learn more about Michael as a husband, father, and your walk with the Lord when it comes to business. How do you juggle all of that?
Such a good-looking man. He looks like Ronaldo down there. Holy cow! Gosh, I'm blushing. Man, I'm still figuring it out, Brian. I'm a human being. I have faults. Ask my wife, ask my kids, but I try to love them the best I can. I try to be the best father. I try to be as attentive as possible. I do spend time with the Lord every morning. Even that time is sometimes distracted. I'm a human being. I have faults. It's just something that you've got to commit to and know that you're going to have setbacks over time. You're going to improve sometimes, then all of a sudden you're going to regress. But you have to have that commitment to get 1% better a day. And that's not the answer that Brian wants. He wants some blueprint for how I'm some perfect husband or whatever. But case in point, today is my wife's birthday, and I have like 14 sales calls and haven't even talked to her much. So she's probably like wanting to beat me. So Brian, I'm not a perfect person. I'm highly flawed, but I have a certain character and moral code that I adhere by. And I try to treat everyone fair and give value to everyone. I hope that kind of answers your question.
I think also, and just another nugget there, you surround yourself with people that have similar values and moral codes. Like, you're not hanging around, like, let's just talk about niche. You're not letting just anybody into the community.
Yeah.
It's not about who can pay the most to get in. It's like, do you have the right values to go and serve these homeowners? So I would write down for everybody on here, what kind of person do you want to hang out with? Who do you want to be? And then how can you attract and be around this kind of people? That's why I went out. I was like, I'm going to make Michael my friend. I've gone to Kansas to make Michael hang out with me. He had no choice. I just showed up. So when you want those kind of people, you make it happen. All right. I think you have 2 minutes left on time here. Let's see. Brian, just because he got a deal done, let's answer his. Can you short sale while homeowners in a bankruptcy stay?
Sure can. Yeah, we've had sellers file bankruptcy several times. And during that 2, 3, 4, 5 month window, we'll get our short sale agent that specializes in that, and they'll try to get that through. Now, if they did get the short sale approved, the bankruptcy would have to be released for that property to sell, but you can do it during that period of time.
All right, Michael, I know you have 1 minute left. I'll stay on and answer a few more of these questions. So how can people apply if they want to get into niche and maybe take up more of your day time to see if they're a good fit?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about actually starting the mentorship and spending time with you because you all booked my calendar, but I'm gonna have to hire a sales guy or something pretty soon. But I really wanted to spend time with the first X amount of people and really experience that and enjoy that. But getnichenow.com. You can go on there. There's an application form on there. Fill it out and we'll get back to you.
All right. I just want to pull it up so everybody can see it. There you go. Here's the website. Why isn't it working? Share my screen. There you go. Get Niche Now. Come on, share. There you go. Can you guys see it? Perfect. Join the wait list right over here on the top right. Getnichenow.com. All right. Well, Michael, I know that you have to go get on some more phone calls. Tell Melanie we said happy birthday. Thank you for coming out.
Some of these people in the audience, I recognize your name that I have appointments with you today, so I'll look forward to that. So.
All right. Well, have a good day, Michael.
Time for one more question.
One more?
One more.
All right. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's do. I have a pre-foreclosure seller. Oh, you know what? This will be really good. I have a pre-foreclosure seller. The seller is out of the house. His wife has dementia and won't sign anything. Is there a way to get this done?
So to be clear, there's a husband. He's out of the house. Do we know where the husband is?
Yes, I think he's talking to the husband, but the wife is still in the house and she will not sign anything.
Okay. Well, if someone has dementia, you never sign a contract. One. If someone is not in their right mind, please don't do this. That is elder abuse. Do the right thing. Find an heir. Find the husband. Find the person that has POA or is responsible for them. If you sign a contract with that person, which might be relatively easy a lot of times, and then you tell the heir or the husband or whoever, they're going to flip out. So do not do that. Do the right thing. You can talk to the person with dementia, talk to them about the process and do things like that. Do not sign a contract. It's not the right thing to do. Find someone that does have sound mind, talk to them, get them together and have a group conversation. We've signed many deals in this exact scenario, but you're never going to get what you want by treating people wrong.
Yeah, he said she's also out of the house. So this leads into a question I had. I talked about Eddie Reyes. He contacted me yesterday. He was helping a gentleman. In California. I've gone over a few times. He was going to take him to go get some groceries yesterday. He was going to take him to get cat food and things. Well, he told me when we were talking before, he doesn't have much time left. He has no heirs. He has no immediate family that he knows of. And he's by himself. And when Eddie tried to help him to the car, he ended up falling and cutting his arm and just got blood everywhere. So Eddie was like, hey, I can't take you in my car. Let me take you back in. And then he realized he's just not all there mentally. So no next of kin known of, and he's just not all there. So would you get to the courts and try and appoint somebody, get a guardian to help him? Because then he was like, what should I do? I was like, well, figure out what he wants to do in the next, for the rest of his life. Does he want to leave a legacy? Does he want to go hang out on a cruise ship for the next 2 years? What's he want to do? So what would you do, Michael?
So that's why your power team is so important. We've talked about the core ones, but a social worker, a placement agent in senior living. So many times if people have dementia, I have a guy, his name is Ron Brown. And if I ever have someone with dementia or that needs to go to assisted living, I don't necessarily know every single thing about Medicaid and their insurance and their financials and what they can afford and what community they should go to. Having a guy like that is super valuable because I can say, Ron, I'm probably buying this house. This person needs assistance in finding it. So he acts as almost a real estate agent. He pairs them with the right community. The community pays him a commission for the referral. So the service is free. And I see Mike says the husband wants to sell. The wife has dementia and won't sign. The house goes to auction on the 3rd. Mike, you might just want to get them in the same room and have that conversation. And sometimes in those situations, the husband might need to look into a power of attorney. If she's not in her right mind and it's his house as well, he may need to step in and make a decision. So get in there, have that conversation. Maybe the husband will meet you at the care facility and see if that changes her tune or if the husband wants to take further action. You don't want to force anything, but what you can do is walk through options and opportunities on how to solve the problem and see if everyone's amicable to that.
Okay. Well, thank you. So just want to make sure I reiterate, you have a guy on your team who will help get people into assisted living?
Yeah. So his, I forget what the company is called, but he is what's called a senior placement agent. He knows everything about every senior living place in the area. If you have this amount of money and this is your ailment, this is where you should go. He knows all the different directors of these communities. And I will just refer someone over and he will track down the right community for them. And it's a huge value add for me because they get a place to stay. And it's free to me. So,
yeah, that's the main thing. Cause the gentleman that he's dealing with, I know you have to go now. He is just barely surviving on Social Security. So we just want to make sure that he's comfortable and enjoying the golden years. Well, Michael, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you guys. You can message him on Instagram, Michael_Franke. Is that what it is?
Michael_Franke. That's the one.
On Instagram, and I'll answer the next few questions, and then we'll wrap up out of here. So, Michael, I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right. See you later.
Later. All right. I'm going to rock it through the rest of these questions that we have. So, I saw a few, and I just want to get to the ones that were pertinent to Michael. This is a good one right here. So James said, please explain the focus on high equity deals. Say you get a low equity sub-2 deal with a good interest rate, or a hybrid deal with 0% seller finance. Both good options. Am I missing something? This is a really good question, James. And then for everybody else on here, this video does say that I will be giving you guys data for free. If you message me on Instagram, I'll give you guys some data you can call so we can help homeowners out. Now, back to this question. When you're new and you're getting started, I would not focus on low equity, expired listings, or just low equity, no cash flow, because you're going to be asset rich and cash poor. If you have a roof that goes out or air conditioning, you've lost all your money on that, and it's just not great. Now, if you're in Michael's position, or if you're in a position of somebody who's been doing this for a long time, and you can take on a property where you might not be making any money for 2-4 months, and it's not going to impact you, go for it. But if you are getting a deal where it's $3,000 a month and it's going to be vacant for 4 or 5 months, that can put somebody underwater, and then you're going to end up being a motivated seller because you can't afford it. You might even end up getting into foreclosure and losing that property. So I would recommend against that if you are new. Once you have experience, then I'd look into low equity, but I would not, for me personally, I do not recommend going after low equity listings. I don't think it's the best use of your time. Alex said, one time I got chased out of a property and I was called names. I sat in the car and cried, but later just realized it was a mental issue and had nothing to do with me. You said that from earlier, but we're just trying to help people out. Sometimes they are willing to take help. Sometimes they don't want it, and you just serve. Make them be the most important thing in what they want to accomplish, and we'll walk them through all the options to stop the foreclosure and put as much money as we can in their pocket, save their credit, whatever they'd like to do. So I think that's a great way to hit it. All right. Jonathan asked another question over here. He said, I've been doing door knocking in the evening after I make about 100 to 150 doing Instacart. Would you recommend door knocking 5 doors in the morning and then coming back in the evening again? Yes, you can do anything. Honestly, it just comes back. You can text, you can call, you can write letters. I love door knocking on the weekends as well. I really like to focus on those that really need my help. So I am very niche when I'm picking on who I'm going to help. Dig a ditch with your niche, stick with it, keep leading up to it. And one thing Michael likes to focus on as well, people circling the drain. They're getting close to the auction date. Go and try and serve them. They're probably more motivated and willing to work with you, and they want to work with you because nothing else is panned out. We just had a deal close. Let me see. I just had this open earlier. Here we go. This is a deal that we just closed when I was out of town. I'll show you guys the hub. Let me just get it going. So this is one that we closed. Closing documents. Here you guys go. Can you guys see this document right here? This is a closing settlement statement for a property we ended up buying. You guys can see we bought this sub 2. We were able to give the homeowner $20,000, and then what we ended up doing right here is we gave our JV partner a $15,000 assignment. So this came from a guy following up with a homeowner for 7 months who is going to be getting, they thought they were going to get a loan mod approved, and they were told the loan mod was going to be approved, and it ended up not going through. Loan mod was not approved. Okay, gotcha. Well, they couldn't get it approved. The auction date was still coming up. We thought they were handled, but they did a lot of follow-up. The name of this game is follow-up. If you guys can follow up and you're just serving and you don't care, like you don't come in and you're trying to make a buck on it, you just want to help this homeowner out. We were able to get movers over there. We helped them get into their new house that they're living in. We covered the rent for them, and we put money in their pocket, and we gave them money before we even closed on it because they needed money in the meantime. Now, I don't recommend you guys do that. There's a few times that it's bit me in the rear end where I've given money. I am too empathetic sometimes. So don't always just give money to people because you could just be burning that money up and they're just kicking the can down the road. But that one ended up working out because that was like 6 months of follow-up. Even they thought they were going to get that loan not approved. So I just say stay really organized with who you're talking to. All right. And your next question was, or just use one time in a day and follow up a couple of days. I would say do a little bit of everything. It's all consistency. Just be consistent with your follow-ups because you never know when it's going to be. And you should have like 20 to 40 leads once you build your pipeline up. Build the pipeline up and just follow up. All right. Let's see what else we have. I want to get you. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'm going to invite you guys on stage. So if you guys are on YouTube, I'm going to put this link in the side chat. It's a StreamYard link. You guys can come up on stage and ask me some questions. All right. All right, let's see what Brian has. Brian said, I've heard a lot about subject to, but what it actually entails, such as paperwork and not triggered a due on sale clause? So there's different situations with sub 2. I just bought a house where we did an agreement for sale. So we do not, our name is not on the deed. We have an agreement for sale on the property. It's a sub 2 VA loan. That's at 3% interest. It's such a sweet deal. We are closing on that one Monday, I believe. So due on sale, there's not like a, it's kind of like the boogeyman. It doesn't always happen. This is the main thing. Banks just want to get paid. Banks get paid to lend money. I have heard that some banks are paying attention when titles change. So you could just put it in a trust to protect yourself. There's quite a few strategies to make sure that nobody ends up getting triggered due on sale. But I have not personally had it happen. I only know like 2 people that have had it happen out of like 14,000 people that I know. So it's not as often as you think it will. All right, let's see what else we have. And then Kevin, I see you over there. As soon as I see you're clear and you have the sun not right on the camera, I'll bring you up on stage. Okay, let's see. What is the best way to underwrite agents' commissions on an MLS deal? I would need some more information here. I'm assuming you're going after stuff that's been sitting on market for a while. So I would figure out what makes it a win-win for everybody so you can get the homeowner as much money as possible. But you should tell me some more so we can figure that out. At the end of the day, it's got to be able to cash flow. I will not look at anything unless there's a lot of equity. I'm just not doing low equity stuff. I want to make sure that everybody is winning, and I'm just not, me personally, I don't want to take on, I'm not letting people stay in the property. I'll let them stay a little bit. I'm not letting them rent it back from me like Michael is right now. I'm just not where he has the higher paying threshold. I am just trying to get to where my team is all making enough money so they're comfortable and that we're helping enough homeowners and we're doing a good job. We're small. I have a smaller team than Michael. Batu said, what is the ideal time for calling? 9 a.m. to 9 p.m.? I do 9 a.m. to around 7:30, 8 p.m. It varies. So there's no perfect recipe. I helped one guy who was a FedEx guy who would take boxes off of the airplanes, and he worked nights. So I went over to his house at 6. I was at his house at 6 a.m. So there's no perfect recipe. It's just call everybody. Sometimes it works early. Sometimes it works late. You knock the neighbors, ask them when they're home. That would help out a ton. Okay. Brian just said, in search of a power team, what would be a good line to ask a bankruptcy attorney to start working with them? So I would probably book time and pay the bankruptcy attorney for an hour to ask them questions and just let them know, like, hey, I'm doing a ton of marketing in the area here. I'm helping homeowners that are going through some financial distress with their mortgage company. Sometimes it just makes sense for them to talk to an attorney and potentially file for bankruptcy. I'm interviewing attorneys. You're one of the few that I'm interviewing, and I want to see if we'd be a good fit. Sometimes I have homeowners that get to me the day before the auction, and they need to move quickly. Is this something that, we could help, like, get you paid and they can get taken care of on a short notice? Are you equipped to handle this? I would always just say, like, over deliver. How can you over deliver and help somebody? And then they're going to jump through hoops to help you out. That's what I would do if I were you. But always give before you get. You will be rewarded tenfold, and you'll have a lot of relationships from that. All right, Kevin, I'm going to bring you up here. I want to tell you to move your camera back so I can see your face, because right now I see a whole lot of chin. There we go. What's going on, Kevin?
Hey, how are you today?
I'm doing well, man. What about you?
Oh, not too bad.
Good.
Hey, how are you dealing with, you've said several times you have ADHD.
Yeah.
I'm part of the club.
Welcome.
And Adderall is not available. How are you dealing with just your everyday thing as you have calls, you have these Zooms, all this stuff?
Great question.
I've used the journal, and it's just remembering to check, and then it's remembering to keep track of what time I'm in at the moment and not losing track of it because I'm on this one thing.
All right, I'm taking a note so I can make a YouTube video on this.
Awesome.
I'll make a short one. I don't know if you saw, I made a short video. It's 6 minutes long on how to pull data. I'm actually going to be doing an overhaul on my social media just so I can get more content out for you guys. I don't know if anybody else has ADHD. I got the ADHD. I was diagnosed when I was 9. I am attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And if you know me, I don't drink coffee. I don't need it. But yeah, that happens to me a lot. And I'm very tough on myself. I'm going to just mute you just because there's background noise. You can unmute yourself. You have another question. Now, what I do, I actually have my phone. I set, and I don't know if you guys have heard me ever say this. So I would grab your phone right now. I know you're on camera right now, so don't do this at the moment, Kevin. But for everybody else, I'd grab your phone and go to your alarms. And I have multiple alarms that go off through the day. So for me, I have an alarm at 11:50 every day because I lose track of time. When I get into something, I can either be in a workflow. If somebody distracts me, I'm toast. So I have my journal. I've been taking notes on a legal pad. I have this next to my desk here. I go over with my team what are the hot things that we need to accomplish so it can get done. So if I were you, I'm restarting. The first thing I do is I have my high performance planner. I've talked about this a few times. This is my high performance planner I got from Brendan Bouchard. See, is it right side up? This is a great one. It's on my Amazon links and my Instagram story. Where's the first page so you guys can see it? I love this little journal because it helps me put the 3 top things that must be accomplished. High Performance Planner by Brendan Bouchard. 3 tasks that I absolutely must complete. Because if you put too much on your plate, you're going to drown. And then you're going to be like, well, I didn't accomplish everything, and now I'm hard on myself. So I know to make money, I need to have more conversations. So I need to have at least 50 contacts before I clock out for the day, before I go do ADD stuff and I go play. I do also incorporate 10, 15-minute breaks because I am on meetings a lot. I am the lead force on my team, and I delegate out a ton of stuff. So I know I'm not good at systems. I will tell you how I want the system to work. I don't want to build the system because the system is going to be put together with duct tape and all kinds of stuff. I want it to be efficient. I pass on all of the integrations to my integrator and my team. They make sure that works. I also go over things that I am working on right now. So what are my actually, let me show you this. This is my little KPIs that I have for my team. And I wrote this out for my team. Can you see the screen? Yeah, I think you can. So if you guys can see this, just give me a thumbs up in the side chat. I think Kevin's frozen on my end here. But I like to remind myself, why am I doing this? It's a process. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. I want to make sure it's working out really well. And then what I do is I go into, this is how my day is structured, Kevin. So I do a journal. I go over 10 things I'm grateful for. What are my goals that I want to hit long term? What are my hot leads that I need to follow up with? And then what are my 3 tasks that I must complete? Okay. Why do we do this? To keep the main thing, because with ADD, I do get distracted pretty easily. Oops, let me do that. Okay. And then every time something comes in, I call my hot new leads. So I go into stuff that doesn't yet have an auction date. I do stuff that's brand new that does have an auction date. And then I follow up with our hot leads, then our warm leads, and then our cold leads, because you just have a pipeline you're building, continuously following up with those. I also like to map out my door knocking route for the day. This is, my responsibility. Whoever on our team is doing it. We've been using Badger Maps. I hit our hot new leads first. Anything that has an auction date within 20 days, we hit that lead. Then we follow up with the doors that haven't answered yet. And then we always just try and lead with value. Hey, I understand the lender's giving you a tough time. My goal is to make sure that you guys have been taken care of. You probably don't need help, whatever we need to go into. And then these are the KPIs that I hit. So I have these things, and I have little gentler reminders, like my alarm will go off at 3 o'clock. What are my personal goals? I like to hit them again because I get up early. I don't know if you looked at my Instagram story. I'm back in Arizona, and I woke up at 2:45 today, and I was up at like 3 yesterday, just automatically. So I like to put little gentle reminders when I get distracted, or in the afternoon when I feel like taking a nap. It's like, hey, I'm going to do the uncomfortable stuff right now, even though I'm tired, because my goal is to stop 1,000 auctions a year and help more homeowners have control, get a fresh start, put more money in their pocket, rebuild their credit. We connect homeowners with a credit repair company so that they can start rebuilding that if we take over the house sub 2. So while we're making the mortgage payment, we've been doing quite a few subtails where we are partnering with the homeowners and we're giving them more money after we sell. But with that ADD, I have accountability partners, and I just keep a little journal, and I have alarms that go off. I have an alarm every hour in the morning just because I'll get distracted by things, just so I stay on task, because I'll go have a conversation with, like today, one of my last meetings ran over at 35 minutes. I'm like, guys, I have to get out. So I really use those times and time block. I will even do a time blocking video for YouTube. Time block. So you can see. But I turn off my phone is on do not disturb at all times. I have no notifications that come through except for my Slack with my team and text messages. Nothing else can get through to my phone because I'll get distracted by it. So I just try and understand like, hey, if I'm trying to lose weight, I'm going to take out all sweet treats from the house because I don't want to be tempted. Same thing with whatever task I'm doing. I turn off every notification and I don't let myself do anything until the task is done. So I might dial for an hour and then I get to go do 10 minutes of being ADD. Then I dial for another hour, 10 minutes of ADD. Does that help you at all, Kevin? Does that answer your question? Oh, hang on, trying.
Yes, it does. I appreciate it, and I look forward to those other videos because it's you know, like you say, you get honed in on something, and all time disappears, and the journal almost becomes a condemnation of charges against you for a judge for the day.
Yeah, well, so I give so with the journal, I give myself 15 minutes to do it. That's another thing. I give myself deadlines because if I give myself too much time, I'll take my time. You know, like when you're about to have family over or friends over, your mom's like, clean the house. We have 10 minutes before everybody gets here. That house gets clean really quickly. But if you give yourself all day to clean the house, it's going to take you all day to clean the house. So I cut down, like, I must get 15 dials done in an hour minimum. Like, if I'm doing one single line dialer, I give myself deadlines, and it makes it a lot easier to accomplish those goals.
Great.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Nice seeing you, dude. You've been putting in work, too. I'm really excited to do some deals with you and help you out. Wow, I love the amount of people in here that have ADHD. Ooh, I like this. David just said, I started leaving video messages at each door I knock. I'm using the primary number on the list. How best to frame the video message for people in case that's not the same person on the list? I would just say, like, so let's just say their name's David. Hey, David, it's Caroline. I'm trying to get a hold of you. I don't know if this is coming through. You just keep it short, sweet. You don't have to go into a ton of detail. It would vary depending on where you are in the foreclosure process. If the auction's tomorrow, I'm probably going to be really trying to contact them and get a hold of them. So Magnus has been calling the leads that I gave out to you guys. I spent a ton of money on that. My VA, actually, that lead list is getting updated every single day. And my VA is updating it in real time. So I will help you out anywhere. If you guys message me the word data, I will send you over the leads. And if you message me the word deal, you'll get a prompt that'll let you fill out the document. So if you find somebody who needs to sell or wants to stop a foreclosure and they need help stopping that, message me. We will help you. We'll contact the bank. We'll do all of that. We'll JV with you on it. If you want to close it all the way up and you need a buy price, I can tell you where you need to be on it there. I'm down to help you guys out and walk you through anything. So you can get just somebody who's interested in selling, send them over. Somebody who needs help stopping the foreclosure, we'll give them the resources that they need. But yeah, just get on the phone with them. Okay, guys, this was a short and sweet one. I want to remind you, grab your phone, put your alarm on for 12 o'clock Arizona time on Thursdays. We're here to help you guys out. Make sure you got over to, what is it called? getnichenow.com. I will throw that up on the screen so you guys can see it. This is what Michael said his website is. If you want to have the opportunity to talk to him on his wife's birthday, he might have all of the slots covered. But we're here every Thursday. Would love to help you guys out. I have like 60 messages on my Instagram, so you're going to have to give me time. I'll be able to reply back later today. But yeah, guys, thank you for pouring into yourselves. I found Michael, and I wanted to do this podcast show with him on lunch because he changed my life. Within 2 weeks of door knocking what he told me to do, I got a deal under contract. He walked me through so many things, and he's helped me out. It works. This is why I want you guys to win with us. We want you guys to help more homeowners. We want to change the way that real estate investors are seen. We want to do the right thing by these families. So if you need help with anything, holler at me. You can message us on Instagram. This is my Instagram right here. And Michael's is Michael_Franke. And we'll see you guys next week. All right, everyone. Have a great day. And hit your KPIs. Go make some